Hello and welcome, Chosen One. The number 333 has appeared before you, and this is no coincidence. This is a divine sign, loaded with power, that brings with it a message of alignment, balance, and profound transformation. If you are hearing these words, it is because the universe, with all its mystery and wisdom, is calling you to awaken your highest potential. This is the moment in your life when doors begin to open and the stars align to guide your steps. Now, before we continue, how about sharing this energy with the world around you? Send this video to those who you feel also need to hear this message, because together we can create a chain of light and awaken to the divine purpose. And, of course, subscribe to the channel, because here you will receive guidance, revelations, and insights that have the power to transform your life in a way you never imagined possible. Let's go together on this journey of evolution, transformation, and unshakable faith. The best is yet to come, and you are about to experience one of the biggest changes in your life. Don't waste time. The universe is speaking to you now. Let's move forward, with courage and confidence, because the journey is just beginning. Life often feels like a battlefield. Just when we think we are making progress, obstacles appear, knocking us down and leaving us wondering if we'll ever see the light at the end of the tunnel. In moments like these, doubt creeps in, whispering, maybe this is all for nothing. Maybe I'll never get through this. But what if I told you that your struggles are not a punishment, but a preparation for something greater? Think about Job, a man who lost everything: his wealth, his health, his family. His suffering was so intense that even his closest friends doubted him. And yet, in the end, he received double of everything he had lost. Job's story isn't just an ancient tale, it's a reflection of what many go through today. Time and time again, people find themselves at their lowest point, only to later realize that those painful seasons were shaping them for their greatest victories. Right now, you might be facing rejection, failure, or heartbreak. You've prayed, worked hard, and held on, but nothing seems to be changing. The truth is, this season of struggle may actually be the biggest sign that your breakthrough is near. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to recognize the signals that God is working behind the scenes in your life, even when you can't see it yet. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like giving up, only to experience an unexpected blessing later? If so, stick with me, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see your challenges forever. We all go through seasons where nothing seems to make sense. You pray, you work hard, you try your best. Yet, instead of moving forward, it feels like you're stuck in place or even falling behind. It's in these moments that frustration takes over. Questions flood your mind. Why is this happening to me? Did I do something wrong? Has God forgotten about me? Maybe you've been waiting for a breakthrough in your career, but every opportunity seems to slip away. Maybe you've been struggling in your relationships, facing rejection or loneliness when all you desire is love and connection. Or maybe your battle is internal: self-doubt, fear, anxiety, things that no one else sees but that weigh on your heart every single day. These struggles aren't just painful, they're confusing. When we don't understand the purpose behind our suffering, it's easy to believe that there is no purpose at all. The thought of enduring hardships without meaning can be overwhelming, leading many to give up just before their situation turns around. But what if your struggle isn't a sign that you're alone or abandoned? What if it's actually a sign that you're on the brink of something greater? What if, right now, in the middle of your pain, God is preparing you for something you can't even imagine yet? In the next section, we're going to look at real-life stories, both from the Bible and modern times, that prove this truth. before the greatest victories, there are always the hardest battles. Throughout history, the greatest stories of triumph have always been preceded by seasons of struggle. This isn't just a pattern, it's a principle. Before every breakthrough, there is a battle. Before every elevation, there is a test. And one of the most powerful examples of this is the story of Job. Job was a man of great faith, integrity, and prosperity. He had everything: wealth, a loving family, and good health. Yet, in a sudden and devastating turn of events, he lost it all. His livestock, his servants, his children, everything was taken away. To make matters worse, his body was afflicted with painful sores. His friends questioned him. His wife told him to curse God and give up, and he was left in deep suffering, unsure if things would ever get better. But here's what makes Job's story so powerful. He didn't give in to despair. He held on to his faith, even when he couldn't understand why he was suffering. And in the end, his patience and perseverance were rewarded. God not only restored what Job had lost, but he doubled it. What seemed like the end of his life was actually the beginning of something greater. This same principle applies today. Many people who have achieved success, whether in business, sports, or personal growth, share a common thread in their stories. They hit rock bottom before reaching new heights. Entrepreneurs who went bankrupt before building multi-million-dollar companies. Athletes who faced career-ending injuries before making legendary comebacks. People who lost everything, only to find a new and better path waiting for them. The truth is, suffering often comes before success. It's a refining process, a test of endurance and faith. If Job had given up, he would have never seen the blessings that were waiting for him on the other side of his struggle. And the same is true for you. Now that we understand this pattern, the question is, how do you know if your own breakthrough is near? In the next section, we'll explore the key signs that indicate God is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it yet. If struggles often precede victory, how can you tell if you're on the edge of a breakthrough? While every journey is unique, there are common signs that indicate God is working behind the scenes in your life, even when it doesn't feel like it. These signs are not coincidences. They are divine signals that something is shifting in your favor. Let's explore them one by one. 1. Increased opposition and challenges. Have you ever noticed that the moment you decide to move forward, resistance seems to appear out of nowhere? Maybe things were going smoothly, but suddenly, obstacles start piling up. Unexpected setbacks, closed doors, and discouragement come at you from every angle. It may feel like everything is falling apart, but in reality, this is often a sign that your breakthrough is close. Before David became king, he had to face Goliath. Before Joseph became a ruler in Egypt, he was betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned. The enemy fights hardest when he knows you're about to step into your destiny. When opposition increases, don't give up. It may be the final battle before your victory. 2. A season of isolation. Sometimes, before God elevates you, He removes certain people and distractions from your life. You may feel distant from friends, disconnected from familiar places, or misunderstood by those around you. This can be painful, but it's not rejection, it's preparation. Think of a seed planted deep in the ground. Before it grows into something beautiful, it must first be buried in darkness. If you're in a season where you feel alone, remember that God may be setting you apart so He can do something new in your life. 3. Unusual divine connections. Have you ever had moments where you meet someone who unexpectedly helps you move forward? A job opportunity, a mentor, or a random conversation that shifts your perspective. These are not coincidences, they are divine appointments. When God is leading you toward your breakthrough, He often places the right people in your path. Pay attention to these connections. Sometimes, one meeting, one conversation, or one new idea is all it takes to change your direction. 4. A stronger desire to seek God. During difficult seasons, many people either drift away from God or feel an increased urge to seek Him. If you find yourself praying more, reading scripture more, or feeling drawn to His presence, that's a major sign that He is preparing you for something bigger. Spiritual hunger often increases before a breakthrough. God draws you closer because He wants to prepare your heart for what's coming next. Don't ignore this feeling. Lean into it. What comes next? If you recognize any of these signs in your life, don't lose hope. Challenges, isolation, and unexpected changes may feel overwhelming, but they are often indicators that you're closer to your breakthrough than you think. The key is to remain faithful and trust that God is working, even when you can't see the full picture yet. Now that you recognize the signs, there's one final step: holding on. The waiting season can be the hardest part of your journey. Doubt will try to creep in, fear will whisper lies, and impatience will make you question if God's timing is really perfect. But here's what you need to remember: your breakthrough is not a matter of if, but when. Think about the people who gave up right before their blessing arrived. The entrepreneur who quit 1 month before their business took off. The person who walked away from a relationship that was about to be restored. The believer who lost faith just moments before their answered prayer. If you're in a season of struggle, don't lose hope. What feels like the end is often the middle of your story. Just because you can't see the full picture yet doesn't mean God isn't working. His silence does not mean absence. His delays are not denials. He is preparing you, strengthening you, and positioning you for something greater. So what should you do now? Keep moving forward. Keep praying. Keep believing. And most importantly, don't let your temporary pain make you forget your. If this message spoke to you, let us know in the comments. And if you know someone who needs this encouragement, share this video with them. It could be exactly what they need today.